Yoga in brief. The absolute truth that is present in the cosmos or this visible universe and beyond is the supreme divinity. Every religion has been harping on about this grand truth since the dawn of civilization. However, earthly religions appears to differ in their exposition of this grand truth, even though the substratum of every religion is the same divinity. Just like a human being is biologically no different from a human being of another race, a philosophy, an idea, or a doctrine pertaining to a divinity within the self cannot be drastically different from what fellow being honestly experience. At the fundamental level, there remains an underlying unity in all experiences, even though the superficial perception of every human being appears to differ from that of others in the context of his or her comprehension of reality or the divine. Even the languages constructed by human beings in order to communicate amongst themselves do not have much in common. No wonder that a human race has not exhibited any consistency in comprehending religion. Perhaps the very genesis of conflict among religions lie in the diversity of languages. Modern science, as far as its success story is concerned, can be credited with bringing about some sort of unison with regards to understanding the universe. However, this scientific understanding alone has not been adequate enough to ensure people peace and harmony on the planet. The human race continues to be unable to comprehend the futility of fighting in the name of religion, and conflicts go on as ever. Fusion between world religions, philosophies, doctrines, dogmas, and also science may not be necessary precondition to lasting peace and happiness. Then what is the solution? Would the direct manifestation of the divinity on earth ensure direct promulgation of peace and harmony on the planet? Has the divinity not manifested over and over again in various parts of the planet in the form of various divine incarnations such as Rama, Krishna, Buddha, Jesus, or Allah? What happened as a result of these incarnations? Has the human race become any happier than it had been in the past, in spite of the direct presence of these divine incarnations? The answer is no. In fact, it has become unhappier. The supreme divinity has been broken down into different names and formed by human beings in the name of various religions. It is important to remember that the infinite spirit enshrined in the human body and the spirit that pervades the cosmos is one and the same. The divinity cannot be broken down. The various religious systems which exist in the world today constitute different paths leading to the same mountain peak, that of a supreme divinity. Hence, it can either be said that the particular religious system is supreme as the only path to the top, or it can be said that all religious systems are different paths leading to the same destination. One can argue that not only are both of these points of view true, but there is no difference between both these views. They mean the same thing. Here, reader might question how anyone practicing a particular religious system can claim that his or her path is only path. This can be answered using the following analogy. For a mountain climber, the thing that matters most is reaching the top. Since it is the terminal objective that matters, reaching the top of the mountain, the means employed or the path path chosen to get there turns out to be the correct way or path due to the sheer fact that it has correctly led the person to the mountain top. Hence, the person has every right to claim that his or her path is the best or the only true path. There is nothing wrong with this claim. The same logic applies to all other people who make it to the top of the mountain through different paths. Everybody who is standing at the top of the mountain can claim that their respective path is the right one. It is indeed a grand truth being proclaimed by a person standing at such a lofty height. No one is even competent enough to question another on this count. However, it is not the same when people starting saying that their respective paths are the best without having achieved the state of self-realization. They cannot make this claim while attempting to climb the same mountain as they have no direct knowledge to the summit. All their knowledge is from scriptures. It is based on what has been handed down to them by the religious systems, proclaimed by those who have reached the mountain top earlier. No person in this world can truly claim that he or she belongs to a particular religious system just because he or she is practicing it. In this way, anyone can put on the garment of new religious system just by undergoing the external ritual required for religious conversion. Similarly, no person can truly claim to belong to a particular religion by virtue of being born to parents practicing that religious system. If a couple belonging to different religious systems were to marry, how would they decide which religion system to impose to their children? Don't children have an independent original right to belong to any particular religious systems of the choosing? Therefore, the stamp of a religion can't be truly put on a person by virtue of birth or religious practice. I'm not trying to say that one should not marry someone practicing another religious system or that one should not convert to some other religious system. All that I want to say is that person can truly make his or her claim to a religious system only after achieving self-realization through a chosen path. It is important to focus on a terminal objective and not fight about the supremacy of the means employed. Let us assure the reader that a futility of fighting in the name of religion is realized long before completing the first lap towards the goal of self-realization. Splitting up of the divinity in the name of various religions appears to be conscious act of the very divinity itself. Perhaps the divinity has manifested in different regions of earth from time to time, in order to cater to different groups of the human race based on differing social conditions which again were created by divinity itself. However, people belonging to each religion continue to try to prove their supremacy over the others. Hence, we see so many conflicts in the name of religion. Perhaps some sections of the human race might claim that they are happier lot or therefore there is no need for any more fresh ideas regarding the divinity. They are indeed blessed if there is any element of truth in their claim. In modern times, the Almighty or the Supreme Divinity is being marketed everywhere in the world. It doesn't matter whether there is any element of truth or not in people's claim of different experiences of the divinity. Since creation itself is illusionary in nature, the divinity itself is being understood in the same tone. Such a great amount of degeneration has taken place from a great tradition of yoga. What is the solution? The solution lies within the human mind. It is the manifestation of the divinity within the self. You can call this self-realization or direct experiences of the divinity, or salvation, or divine grace, or anything else. However, it is strictly private business. Although the spiritual brilliance of a person has a direct impact limited on the rest of humanity, the benefit of self-realization is strictly personal. However, just like a lamp that can light up a million lamps without losing any of its original brilliance an enlightened person might be able to ignite a spark in millions of minds. But for a person to achieve the final salvation, the divinity needs to be manifested within the self alone. The mechanism of manifestation of the divinity within the self is what is called yoga. Once the divinity is manifested within the human being, the merger within the Almighty or the divinity is simultaneously affected. Self-realization in a person that he or she is not separate from the divinity results in the terminal state. Furthermore, all the yoga texts focus on the fact that every human being is basically a miniature model of the divinity or the Almighty. The only way for a person to attain lasting peace and happiness is through self-realization, as it reveals to them that their true nature is that of the divinity. It is only self-illuminated human being who can be of any assistance to humanity, whether the person has managed to ignite one mind or a million minds. Lasting peace and happiness in whatever measure can be passed on to the human race only through self-illuminated human being. Such a person can be called a saint or a sage or a guru or a venerable teacher or by any other name one desires. It is not only the name which matters, but the fact that the person needs to be self-illuminated. The first and fundamental step towards self-realization for any human being is the igniting of the spark within them by a venerable teacher who himself or herself is self-illuminated. A person who himself or herself is in darkness cannot lead others who are also in darkness. After this initial ignition of the spark in a person, the concerned person is required to manifest the divinity within the self alone, within any further external existence. Since the divinity is enshrined within the self of every human being, there is no necessity for any external existence. It is only the initial ignition that is required, and of course, direct supervision up to a point, till the baby learns to walk without a wheel walker. I will subsequently elaborate on this wheel walker idea in later chapters. The cosmos, which includes human beings, is a grosser manifestation of the primordial energy of God. One can say that the divine manifests as a cosmos or this visible universe and beyond while simultaneously pervading it. As far as human beings are concerned, the same divinity is enshrined within the self and is manifested in the form of human body. As a result, there are two apparent parallel creations. One is at a collective level of humanity and the other is at an individual level. I will subsequently elaborate on this. It is only the divine or the supreme cosmic energy that exists and nothing else. Therefore, the primary focus of this book is on the concept of self-surrender to the supreme divinity or manifestation of the divinity within the self. These are one and the same thing. The supreme divinity is this very energy, and likewise this energy is God. The supreme manifestation as the visible cosmos and beyond, and the collective conscious of humanity. However, this energy after the creation of human race or after the divine manifested in human form has remained dormant or is located somewhere deep inside the vast and infinite cosmos. It may not be theoretically possible to determine the exact location of this energy in the cosmos. The energy needs to reveal this itself. It exists in the form of that cannot be comprehended by the human intellect. However, a yogi who is in the advanced stages of yoga practice is able to comprehend this energy. The dormant energy continues to project and sustain a world of illusion with regards to the collective consciousness of humanity. So the primordial energy of God after manifesting as a human body at the individual level remains dormant and is located at the basic of cerebrospinal system, halfway between the anus and the genital region. However, it continues to project and sustain a world of illusion within the psyche of an individual. The energy which has manifested in a form of human body when tempered by a self-illuminated venerable teacher or a guru swings into reverse mode, thereby causing the involution or destruction of the psyche. Creation at the individual level is undone so that the person becomes self-illuminated and merges with the divine. Here, the reader might wonder whether it is theoretically possible for all the humanity to achieve the state of self-realization simultaneously. As per ancient Sanskrit text, creation at the collective level is undone by God from time to time at the closure of each epoch. Here, I would like to acquaint the reader with the cyclic nature of creation. As per ancient Sanskrit text, creation at the collective level of the human race is instigated by the Almighty from time to time. What I will proceed to say on this subject is purely my personal opinion. I am not acknowledged enough to comment upon the question of this magnitude. In the case of an individual person, when creation is undone, it results in self-realization in a very controlled manner. It's a practice of yoga coupled with the grace of Guru that results in the terminal state. How creation is undone at the individual level has been explained in detail in one of the chapters. However, when creation is undone at the macrocosmic level by God, the phenomenon of collective self-realization by the human race may not occur. The reason is very simple. Firstly, there may not be adequate time from the entire human race to experience the breakdown of the laws of science followed by the breakdown of the laws of yoga at the time of cosmic delusion. I have explained what I mean by the breakdown of the laws of science and yoga in the subsequent chapter. Secondly, self-realization can only occur at the will of the divinity, and the supreme divinity is something that is widely well known to be mysterious in nature. I cannot comment any further on this subject. As far as the individual is concerned, the self-illumination or self-realization that he or she is none other than the divinity results in direct knowledge of the nature of the supreme energy, because the supreme energy is the very self of the individual. Therefore, there is no need for human beings to search for the source of the supreme primordial energy anywhere else inside the vast cosmos. It is present within the self. It is the very self. Upon being sparked, the primordial energy, which is located at the base of the spine, starts to climb up along the cerebrospinal system as the energy ascends to the cerebral region. The person experiences the movement of this energy directly within the body. Modern science cannot give any rational explanation for this process. A person needs to experience the flow of this energy directly within their body to believe it. Furthermore, the movement of the energy within the body itself is not at all takes place. First of all, the energy triggers a Pandora's box of nerves all over the body. Then it starts killing the human mind all of its sensual impressions without any voluntary effort from the person. A sort of divine interface is set up between the mind and the cosmic energy. As the energy ascends to the cerebrum region, the mind is elevated to the higher and higher platforms. As the first ray of absolute knowledge dawns upon the person, the absolute bliss experience within the self cannot be described, it cannot be explained in earthly languages. No scientific knowledge, modern or ancient, can give any rational explanation for this mind-boggling phenomenon. This is what happens when Kundalini energy or the cosmic energy is awakened in a person. This is what is called yoga, the cosmic mechanism of merging the supreme divinity. This book is about my personal experiences pertaining to the awakening of Kundalini energy. I have attempted to describe my experiences without any reservations. Though narrating such experiences violates the tradition of the yoga system, it has been done with purely altruistic intentions. Here I would like to inform all general readers that yoga is often thought to consist of only postures and breathing exercises. However, all these techniques are only a means to awaken the cosmic energy. The technique itself is not yoga at all. However, all the postures and breathing exercises form an independent yoga system, and its purpose is fully served after the Kundalini or the cosmic energy is awakened. Similarly, meditation as such is only a technique used to activate the dormant cosmic energy. Only once the energy is activated can its purpose be fully served. Other techniques may also be used, such as devotion to God, performance of duty in worldly life without attachment or to results, etc. Every yoga system contains a particular technique aimed at activating the cosmic energy. This applies to all tantric practices as well. The technique itself is only a means. Yoga as such starts only after the cosmic energy is awakened in a person. This process is similar to the return journey, which starts only when the person turns back and starts walking. Yoga means the joining of individual or the human soul with the supreme universal soul called God. This process cannot begin while the cosmic energy is projecting a world of illusion outwardly through the ego, the intellect, the mind, and the five senses. One needs to be focused inwards first, and no person can deliberately do this all by himself or herself. I will subsequently elaborate on this. Upon activation of the cosmic energy, the return journey or the involvement or the destruction of the psychic begins, and finally dissolves into the source from which creation at individual level was done. The source is called the self of a person or the spirit and is of the same nature as that of the Almighty, just like a spark in the fire. So various techniques are used to awaken the cosmic energy in the forms of various independent yoga systems. After the Kundalini or the cosmic energy is awakened, all independent yoga systems merge into one single grand path.